Hello, I am Empress ELISHEVA, and you're listening to the New Age Apostle podcast. Today, we are beginning a new series, which I am calling The Question of Purpose. This is part one of that series, and I will be dealing specifically with spiritual purpose and why I believe that there is no purpose more important than one's spiritual purpose. All right, let's do it. Okay, so first we're going to do a quick vibe check. I'm feeling really good today, and especially about the new direction of this podcast. If you're out there listening, first of all, I want to extend a huge thank you. As you can imagine, it is super challenging adding your voice to the hordes and hordes of podcasts already out there. And this right here represents a new direction for me. Because I was really trying to do like the YouTube video channel thing, but just like audio only. And I know that there are a bunch of podcast platforms out there, but I was just hell bent on using YouTube as my platform of choice. I don't know why. That's just how I wanted to do it. And then next thing you know, I discovered that there's such thing as YouTube podcasts, and it just clicked. But it took me 4 episodes of my previous format to decide that I was going to shift into a different direction, that I was going to shift into something more aligned to what I'm feeling in my gut that I must do. And I think that's a perfect segue into today's topic, which is what is spiritual purpose? Okay, so I've had a long and complicated relationship with the word purpose. In the beginning, I sought to understand it. Then over time, I endeavored to embody it. And when I felt I was failing at that, I tried to understand what it was. What is purpose? And better yet, what is spiritual purpose? And why is so much time and effort spent trying to understand what a purpose is? It's a question, the answer to which evades so many. The way I begin the journey of understanding something is by defining terms and parameters. Because one can easily get distracted and not really make progress in the direction of any one thing if they out here talking about everything except the specific thing that they're trying to understand or express. Merriam-Webster defines purpose as something set up as an objective or end to be attained or an intention. If you apply that to a being's existence and why we're here on Earth, well, this refers to the objective to be attained or achieved via taking up a human life. Now, provided that you've come to terms with the fact that you are even on this planet in the first place, the next question is, well, hell, why did I come here? This is the question of purpose. This is seeking to understand what the point of all this is. When I was a child, maybe prior to middle school or high school at the latest, I wasn't concerned with existential questions. I remember being incredibly confused about this place where I was, this place being Earth. My experience was awash with sensory input, loud music, loud people, cool shit on TV, colorful shit on TV, yummy tasting food, peers, some kind, some not, and just experiences that either left me traumatized or curious. I know I'm oversimplifying, but when I think about it, that's really what it all came down to. That and learning whatever I was taught in school. When I reached high school, that's when I really started to understand myself as a distinct being who had to figure out what the fuck I was going to do with my life. Because I was soon going to be thrust out into the big bad world, and folks started asking me, hey, who do you want to be? What do you want to do? Right? That dreaded question that we should not be asking 14, 15, and 16-year-olds. All right? I'm pretty sure the same thing happened to you because this is pretty much the early part of the story of human development over the course of, our lifetime. We'll get back to the podcast in a second, but I wanted to mention my ebook, 10 Vibration Raising Practices and Why They Work. I wrote this book because as I delved deeper into my spiritual journey, I realized that one of the most important things on this human journey is raising one's vibration. Understanding how to navigate this human life so that you align with and attain your highest vibrational reality, to me, is key. It's the key to mastering life, because the higher your vibration, the more magnetic you become for high vibrational experiences and spiritual guidance from beings of a higher frequency that want to help you on your journey. As the title suggests, my book details 10 practices that you can start doing today that will put you on the road to a higher vibration. Check out the link in the description box below, or search ELISHEVA Stellar, ELISHEVA Stellar, STELLAR, on Amazon.com or BarnesandNobles.com to purchase your copy today. Okay, back to today's topic. Usually, purpose is disguised as what career one is supposed to aspire to. I grew up in the United States, so it's about how you can be of service or useful to the machine that is our society. What can you do that is going to make your folks proud, make you money, and make your friends envious of your life? Yes, that be motivating people. Let's not pretend. The problem with making your purpose be career focused and career led is that there is this sense of emptiness that comes from focusing solely on that route. Why do I say that? Well, because when you focus solely on the mundane, that divorces you from the spiritual. And as I mentioned in a previous video, becoming high vibrational during your human lifetime is the work we all incarnated to do. And that requires the alignment of your fallen or dualized self. What I'm referring to as the fallen self is that aspect of you that is concerned only with egoic, mundane exploits, versus your higher self, which is that aspect of you that is soul-focused, spiritual, and divine. Aligning both sacred halves of yourself and then bringing them together in a divine cohesion of those supposed opposites is what ascends you energetically. That ascension brings you closer to the divine and the divine beings that have pledged to guide you on your human journey so that you can achieve whatever it is that you came down to earth to accomplish, right? Which is another way of saying your purpose. As a spiritual being having a human experience, what you've come to experience down here is meant to be more than life as a producer for the machine and a consumer of goods in the matrix. You are more than a worker whose only worth is how much money he or she can earn or spend. I don't care what the abundance gospel got y'all believing. Your spiritual purpose is your reason for incarnating. It's the umbrella your human vocation falls under. It's what you came down here to achieve with your human lifetime. It's what you will keep coming down here to achieve via reincarnation if you fail to get it right. Hell, it's why you're here now. You didn't get it right last time. I thought my purpose was career-based, right? So it kept me in this loop of training, then get a job, then get more training to get a better job. And despite doing all of that, I still felt a sense of emptiness, or this sort of, am I doing this right kind of questioning? Because once I attained what I had worked for, I still felt like things were unfinished. And it felt super anticlimactic every single time. Now, I had read a ton of material on figuring out your career and figuring out your life's purpose, and I'm thankful for that because they provided good information on that process of discovering what your purpose is and all that. It's just that I experienced the most progress when I stopped applying that information to my vocation and started applying it to the spiritual purpose of my incarnation. Because as a spiritual being having a human experience, I felt and feel that my spiritual purpose supersedes that human shit, even though it does help shape it. These are big life questions, but they set me on a path of wholeness. And the next step to attaining that wholeness was to figure out what my spiritual purpose is. And that is where we will pick up in the next episode. I bet if you enjoyed this podcast episode, be sure to hit that like button. And while you're at it, hit subscribe. At present, this podcast only appears on YouTube, but I am actively exploring other podcast platforms. For now, since I'm a brand new channel, I would really appreciate your support. My goal is to help you, whether that's by exposing you to new information or maybe a new perspective. I hope that I achieved that today. Until next time, holla at your girl.